All right, why don't we go ahead and get started? I'm going to let the folks in the back just kind of trickle in. First, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Adrian. I manage the Big Ideas program with Philip Denny, who's the director. And we have Max Aronson, who's one of our coordinators, along with Juno Fitzpatrick, who you might meet later. So we have a great team this year. We're really excited to launch our contest and talk to all of you. Honestly, meeting you and hearing about all your ideas is probably the most rewarding, I think, for part of this job for all of us. So please don't be shy, come meet us, we're really friendly. We'll talk to you and read as many drafts of anything you want to send us always. So one of the great things about Big Ideas is that we're incredibly approachable and always available for you guys. So just keep that in mind. I want to give a special shout out to everyone who's joining us online as well. So if you have any questions, feel free to send an email to bigideas@berkeley.edu, and Max in the back will answer. We'll be able to kind of ask some of your questions, and we'll get them answered as well. And since we have a small group today, I highly encourage all of you to just raise your hand, interrupt me. Let's make this a back and forth conversation. Nobody likes formal presentations. You guys have been in class all day.
Just to add to that, when you do have a question, if you can raise your hand, because we want to make sure you get on mic so that it's recorded for the people who are watching on the internet.
Yeah. So we'll start by giving you just an overview of Big Ideas. We're going to go over key dates. We're going to go over requirements and rules. And then afterwards, we're going to open up for advising. So come talk to us. I know a lot of you are here to form teams and whatever else, so don't be afraid to talk to each other and meet each other. You guys are all really brilliant students, and I'm sure you have a lot to talk about and connect with each other about. So let's get started. So how many of you have heard of Big Ideas before? Great, that's awesome. So Big Ideas is an annual innovation contest that provides funding, support, and encouragement to undergraduate and graduate students who are here to form interdisciplinary teams to solve some of the world's most pressing issues. We started in 2006, so that makes us a little over 11 years old now. We started just on the Berkeley campus, but now we've expanded to 16 different universities, and we're tackling issues that cross a lot of different topic areas and a lot of different geography. But why don't I show you a quick video of Big Ideas to just get you inspired.
What makes an idea big?
I think what makes an idea big is that it goes outside the normal boundaries.
I think what makes an idea big is the potential for its impact in the community.
It's novel, it's unique, it's challenging, it's exciting.
The Big Ideas program seed funds and encourages student innovation for a better planet.
Undergraduate students are rarely recognized as producing innovative, cutting-edge ideas.
You know, it doesn't take a lot of money. It doesn't take a lot of, it doesn't take a 5-year PhD research project in order to do some of these things.
I heard about the Big Ideas program, and it was brought to our attention as a group, and we thought, hey, this would be a really great opportunity to kind of get the word out about our projects and see if we can get some support.
It ends up being much more than a grant because it gives you that confidence to go forward. The fact that there's other people in the room and other people at Cal that are reviewing this and thinking, hey, you should go for this.
Having it was like one of the best things for our project. It really got us off the ground at a point where we needed that extra inspiration.
Yeah, knowing that the campus is supporting projects like this and that you have access to these resources has been very instrumental.
Just the fact that Big Ideas existed and seemed willing to fund a project like this gave us hope because our budget for dental is actually like under $200 a semester. And we saved the residents of Berkeley like probably $50,000 to $100,000 just through the services we have.
Capitalize on the creativity of the students. Don't tell them the solution. Give them the opportunity and let them come up with creative ideas.
We should disabuse ourselves of the idea that all smarts are with the professors. Students are just as smart, they're just younger, that's all.
We created a business plan for Big Ideas. So it really gave us that push to really follow through on this and give up our investment banking and consulting offers that we had. And as soon as we got the news that we had gotten the grant, I think that's the first time we said, hey, let's give up what we were doing and let's follow our passion.
The power of the small grant is that it allows students to experiment earlier in their lives. They don't need to wait to complete a PhD and get a faculty appointment to try something new. I think that's very important. Otherwise, we waste a whole kind of generation just waiting for the credentials to do something that they have some capacity to do earlier.
What makes an idea big?
I think what makes an idea big is that it goes outside the normal boundaries and it really kind of surpasses what was already there and sets a precedent for something new.
So the thing I always like to point out about that video, you saw a few different teams. You saw the Back to the Roots guys. They now are a for-profit company. They employ 80 people in the Berkeley area. You saw the Suitcase Clinic, and that's just a student organization here on the Berkeley campus. It's doing great things in the community. They started a smoking cessation program. That project was focused on offering dental services to the homeless in the area. And then you saw the Solar Water Heater, which is an international, their goal was to become sort of an international operating NGO. So different types of projects, everything from service organizations, for-profit, nonprofit. You can come in with any sort of social venture. The only thing that sort of ties all those projects together are that they're number one, student-led, and that they're number two, focused on social impact.
So as Philip mentioned, we support students and projects that come in all shapes and sizes. We give up to $300,000 away to students each year. And we really see projects that have a range of different stages that they're in. So we'll see ones that are more developed, but you could literally come into our office and talk to us with an idea in your head, and we'll help you put it down on paper, develop a budget for it, and develop an implementation plan. So we really are the contest and the home for projects across all different stages of development. So let's talk a little bit about what kinds of benefits you get from Big Ideas. So first, of course, obviously, is funding. Student teams can win up to $18,000 from our contests, $10,000 for your full proposal, and another $8,000 comes from things like pitch contests or video contests or other poster sessions that you can partake in as well. But that's not the only thing. Here at Big Ideas, we're really focused on process, and a lot of that is skills development. So teaching you how to do things outside of your normal classroom experience that will take you farther and help you develop maybe not just this social venture that you apply to the program with, but social ventures in the future. This includes writing workshops, advising sessions, linking you up with the right people, which leads me to talk about the access to expertise. If you are chosen as a finalist, a Big Ideas finalist, then you get paired with a mentor and go through a 6-week mentorship with a mentor with a skill set of your choosing. So basically, you apply, you talk about the different skills you desire in a mentor that you think would take your project to a next level, and we either do that search or we connect you with hopefully exactly who you identify as a mentor.
In addition to that, we also have a program, practitioners and residents program, where Max organizes this, where about every week or every other week at least, we have some industry expert come talk and schedule one-on-one appointments with students to talk through issues of food systems or food security or business plan development or IP strategy. So these are opportunities for students just to take advantage of sort of special skill sets in mentors and advisors.
I was just wondering, who are the mentors? Like, who are we selecting from?
We ask for a minimum of 5 years experience from mentors, but I would say on average they have at least 10 years of experience. This can be anyone from a leading professor here on campus to an industry professional to most practitioners. But essentially we recruit according to category. So if they have a topical focus either in global health or food systems, they're a professional that has worked in this space for about 10 years. You can. So you fill out an application and you identify the different skill sets that you want in your mentor. But you can also create that suggestion for us, right? You say there's this professor on campus that is a leader in the field. I'd love to get in touch with them. And sometimes, a student blind calling a professor won't be the most successful. But what we do is an introduction from Big Ideas is usually pretty convincing.
And we always try and pair students with industry professionals rather than academics, and sometimes it's academics, but we figure you have access to professors and faculty here on campus. So what we try and do is when you are selected as a finalist, we send you a worksheet to fill out. You use that judging feedback that you'll get from the pre-proposal round to fill out that worksheet to identify the gaps or the challenges that your proposal is facing, that your project is facing. And then we have this pool of mentors, and we look to see if there's an ideal mentor for you out of that pool. If not, Adrian and I are experts at stalking on LinkedIn and making random phone calls to people, and we will go out and find you that perfect mentor.
We definitely go the extra mile to make sure you get a good fit for what you want. And we've even had teams come back to us and say, hey, this isn't working out after 2 weeks, and we'll go and find you a new mentor too. Additionally, too, it's not just the mentorship. You get a full round of feedback from your judges who read your proposal. They read your pre-proposal. So regardless of if you move on to the final round, you have typically 6 to 10 judges who are experts reading your proposal and giving you in-depth feedback about your project. So nobody leaves Big Ideas with nothing. You always come out on top and with some feedback of whatever project you've developed. Sure.
If you're not a winner of the Big Ideas, can you still have access to expertise or to skills development or other parts?
So as Philip mentioned, our practitioners and residence program is open not just to winners, but everybody in our Big Ideas network. So as soon as you apply, as soon as you kind of get on our mailing list, you'll get access to all these different folks.
And even last year, we had a number of teams who didn't make it to the final round, but during that final round process, they stayed in touch with us. Hopefully, they're planning to reapply this year. But we were still able to connect them with various folks in the industry or the sector that they needed support to help flesh out their proposals a bit.
Yep. And then to also touch on that note, so you also get exposure and validation from our contest too. Sometimes it's not just about the grant money that you're receiving. A lot of students leave this contest and say, hey, I got this badge of first, second, third place from Big Ideas. This helped me secure even more money, or this helped me be able to contact someone else. It gives you the legitimacy and the confidence to kind of go out and do other things as well.
And we've developed over the years, we've been doing this for, as Adrian mentioned, almost over 10 years. We have great relationships when we place a number of teams in Skydeck, in the Foundry, in QB3, and other incubators and accelerators here in the Bay Area. Adrian also mentioned that each year we give away about $300,000 in funding. We've given away about $1.4 million in funding since the beginning of the contest. Teams that have competed in Big Ideas have gone on to leverage an additional $150 million now. So it's a great sort of launching platform to go out there and do great things and just get those connections, get that exposure, get that validation.
So each year our contest categories change. For those of you who are familiar with last year's contest, a lot of our current contest categories look familiar. But I'd like to highlight that we have a new Hardware for Good category that we're doing in partnership with the Autodesk Foundation. And here we're really leveraging the hardware revolution for social benefit. So encouraging people to develop hardware products that would have some kind of positive social impact. But I'm guessing all of you probably have some category in mind that you'd like to apply to. And I'll go into a little bit about the rules and requirements of each category and how you can treat these categories if you have a project that maybe spans multiple categories or doesn't really fit into any one in particular. Any questions before I move on? No? Bless you. So just some quick rules. All of this is available online and in our brochure in the back, but this is a good opportunity for you to ask any clarifying questions if you have them. Our rules are that the team lead must be a currently matriculated student at an eligible university. So if everyone here is a UC Berkeley student, then you're automatically eligible for the contest and for all 9 categories. We have participating schools from the USAID Higher Education Solutions Network, like MIT or Michigan State, and then we have the the entire UC system that's open to big ideas as well. So just be sure to make sure that your school is eligible for the category that you would like to apply to.
Is anybody in the crowd a super senior graduating in December? Because one of the most common questions we get is, if I'm graduating in December, can I apply to big ideas? And the answer to that is yes. As long as you're a matriculated student this semester, you're eligible to apply. You have a question?
No? Oh.
Yeah, only one student has to, the team lead should be from the eligible campus.
Yeah.
Can it be more than one idea that you apply for?
So you can only submit one idea. You can only submit one idea to a category, but you can submit different ideas to the same category or different ideas to multiple categories. So you could submit 3 different proposals to however many categories you want, but your one idea can only fit into one category. Was that confusing? More confusing than it was clear? So if you have a project and it fits into IT for Society and Global Health, you need to pick one of those categories. If you have 2 different projects, you can submit both to IT for Society or one each to Global Health and IT for Society.
You can have 27 ideas and submit all those ideas.
We've never had one person submit 27 ideas, just to let you guys know.
We have had students, though, who have been on 2 winning proposals.
Yes. So. Yep. Yeah, so if you're an overachiever, go for it.
Per se, you do have 2 winning proposals. Do you have to choose, or can you actually pursue both ventures?
You don't have to choose, but we do want you to realize that a 10 to 15 page full proposal in the spring semester is enough of an initiative, like it's enough work as is. To take on 2 would be quite difficult, but you can certainly do it. You can certainly
and
attempt
the
to.
students who have one with 2 proposals, they were team lead on one and they were a team member on the other, not team lead. So it would be very hard, I think, to be working on 2 proposals at the same time as team lead or as a sole sort of student on the project.
So it might involve more recruiting for more support from team members as well. Oh, I thought that there was a question in the audience. Additionally, the project needs to be student-led and student-initiated. So this can't be a nonprofit that you've worked with over the summer and they need funding for their initiative. This idea needs to come from you, and it can't be some like faculty research project. The innovation essentially needs to come from you. And as I mentioned, 1 category per idea. Any questions? Yeah.
Can this project be helping some kind of campus organizations? So like it's not someone else's project, but fit in to help to like contribute to someone's project.
So, yeah, we have the entire category built around improving student life, where you can offer any sort of new solution to tackle a challenge that the campus is facing or the community here in Berkeley, Oakland is facing.
Okay. All right, I just want to go over some key dates. So most of you know that Big Ideas lasts over an entire year. In the fall semester, we have the pre-proposal round, and we ask for a 3-page pre-proposal from you. In the spring semester, if you're chosen as a finalist, you move on and you submit a 10 to 15-page proposal in March. So we work on kind of a semester system. Just some key dates for you to know if you want to jot down. For all of you that grabbed the brochures in the back, and they're also available online for anyone who's watching as well, if you fold open that rules brochure, you'll find a full timeline with all of our dates. So just jot down kind of things that are coming up. Since most of you are here for the information sessions, I highly encourage you to come in for writing workshops. If you're looking for people to network with and people to pitch your idea to or build a team or join a team, I would encourage you to go to the Idea Generation Dinner in October. And then finally, we have a huge editing blitz, which is all day. We dedicate our entire workday just to read your proposals and make sure that they're in great shape before you submit them 2 days before the deadline. So also make note of that. Additionally, throughout the period, we have practitioners in residence, so you can get tailored feedback on things like how to secure funding for your project, or how to develop lean impact metrics to be able to measure the progress of your project. All of these opportunities will be available to you over the course of the semester. And as always, we love to hear from you. Come see us for office hours. We'll talk your idea to the death and make sure that it's in great shape before November. And please write down that the deadline is November 16th at noon. We want you to submit at noon so we can be here and troubleshoot any problems with your application. We've had people submit last minute and they're like, I can't get through to the platform. So just make sure that you submit on this day at noon. And I just want to note that Veterans Day, I believe, is a Friday before. So it gives you a nice 3-day weekend before the deadline to put together a great pre-proposal. If you're chosen as a finalist, you move on, you're notified in December, and then you move on to your mentorship between January and March, and then you work with your mentor to submit a full proposal, which is 10 to 15 pages, on March 8th, 2017. So another date to just kind of keep in mind as well. After that, we have tons of celebratory events. We have pitch days. We have a video contest, which all Big Ideas pre-proposal applicants can apply for, and you can win up to $2,500 for putting together a short video of your project idea. And then we have tons of award celebrations. So regardless if you make it to the final round, we encourage you to kind of come back and celebrate with us and learn about all the different things, the really, really cool things that are happening on campus.
In fact, the team that won the video contest last year was a team that didn't make it into the final round that is still working on their project. And we actually created the People's Choice Video Contest for that purpose. So some teams obviously may get overlooked in the written proposal round. This was the opportunity for them to shine. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that. And just by way of numbers, so you know from last year sort of how many teams applied. Last year we had 267 teams apply across the 9 categories. 57 made the final round, and 41 ended up winning awards. So there's a pretty high probability, if you make it to that final stage, that you're going to get an award. The other thing I want to point out is all these dates and events that you see, I mean, the minimum sort of bandwidth that you have to do, or the minimum work you have to do for the competition, is submit a 3-page proposal on November 16th and submit that 10 to 15-page proposal if you're chosen for a finalist on March 8th. The other events we hope you take advantage of. Most of the teams that made it through to the final round and succeeded had taken advantage of many of those resources. But if you're strapped for time, or if you're already sort of clear on your vision and you just want to submit that 3-page pre-proposal in November, that's up to you as well.
We had one team last year win their category, so they won first place in their category. They also won pitch day, and then came away with the big vote, which is a smaller poster session we have at pitch day too. So they came away with a huge award from Big Ideas. I'm only going to go over the pre-proposal elements really briefly because I want to go into more depth in our writing workshop and or advising. But essentially, you have 4 main components. You have your problem statement, your existing solutions, your proposed innovation, and your team bios. And essentially, we just want you to identify the problem you're addressing, connect it with what's already out there, and do your landscape research and make sure your hypothesis is supported. Talk about your innovation and talk about how you plan to implement it over the course of 1 year, and then talk about who's on your team. So convince the judges that you have the expertise needed to be able to carry out this project.
And what is important with that team bio section is that at this stage, we're anticipating that you're just still getting ideas out of your head onto paper for the very first time. You might not have your team fully formed at this stage. What you have to do is sort of talk about the skill sets, the people you intend to bring on board for what roles. You don't necessarily have to have every team member defined at this stage in the pre-proposal process.
We've had teams come in, like they wanted to do some kind of networking application, but they didn't have someone with a computer science background, so they ended up recruiting them over the winter and into the spring and found someone by the full proposal round. So you can do that.
Very hard to find.
But so that's the thing too. We highly encourage you to come to our networking events like the Idea Generation and such. But if you know someone who has a profile of expertise that you're currently lacking on your team, you can always reach out to us, ask if we've met any other students who want to join projects, and we're happy to connect you with whoever we know as well.
What's the minimum amount of people in a team and the maximum?
So the minimum amount is one person. You can always apply just by yourself. And then we've had entire student groups apply, like student organizations apply to our contest. So technically there is no maximum. On the application form that you fill out, there will be a limit of 8 student team members, and we ask that the 8 most relevant student team members are listed there. But there is no minimum and no maximum.
For instance, that video that you saw, the Suitcase Clinic, which was a student organization, they had 100 and something people in their student organization. So that's one example. We've also had projects where there was one student on a project. What you need to consider is, do you have the people and the skill sets in place to implement the project if you're given funding? And that's, if it's one person, great. If it's 10 people, you should sort of speak to that.
So your pre-proposal should be no more than 3 pages and 1,600 words maximum, and incorporate all these different components. They don't have to be ordered in this way. They don't have to be even have like the subtitles described in this way. You can format it however you'd like, as long as you cover these 4 different areas. And I encourage you to go to the website or read the requirements to learn more about what these different areas mean. Yes.
So for the proposal, just words, no graphics?
You can have graphics, but it does count in your 3-page minimum, maximum.
But like, how does it count as the word count?
How do the graphics count in the word count?
Does it count?
They don't count in the word count. Yeah, they just need to fit within 3 pages. Yeah. So prior to this year, we had a lot of formatting guidelines. We asked for Times New Roman, 12-point font, 1-inch margins. We want you to be as creative as you want to be this year. So feel free to format however you want. Just make sure it stays within that guideline. All right. And then really quickly, I'm just going to go over what judges are looking for when they're reading your pre-proposals. So in the pre-proposal round, we really focus on creativity and innovation. So innovation accounts for 40% of your overall score, and you should know that in the full proposal round, we flip this on its head. So viability will count for 40% of your full proposal. So in this round, we want you to show that you're thinking creatively, you're thinking innovatively. And then when you move into the full proposal round, how do you take that really creative idea and turn it into something viable and implementable that will work? So this is kind of the process that we encourage you to think about. Just quickly, some other sections: potential for impact accounts for 20% of your score, viability in this round 15%, and you'll get a category question in terms of how well does this proposal fit into the category based on its description, and that counts for 15, and then just overall kind of quality and value of your idea for the last 10.
And the quality is really the judge's opportunity to say, you know, in everything that they've seen, is this really incredible idea? So it's more of a gut check for the judges, that quality. It's not on how polished and how well presented and how, you know, cool the graphics are. It's much more on overall content.
Yeah.
Can the idea be based in another country, or does it have to be international or in the US?
Definitely. All over the world. We've had projects come in that are implemented in Africa, Asia, South America, and then ones that are just the UC Berkeley campus and just a student organization. But essentially, any project that has social impact qualifies.
I think last year in the pre-proposal round, and maybe I'm thinking in the history of Big Ideas, we had 50 different countries represented, projects in 50 different countries.
We do. And I should have mentioned earlier, the Blum Center for Developing Economies is kind of one of the biggest interdisciplinary centers that focuses on global poverty. So we do kind of have that international angle that is missing in a lot of different centers that you do see on campus. But we take everything from domestic projects to globally focused projects.
Some of the categories lend themselves much more to international projects, like obviously global health, to some degree food systems, but then we have improving student life and art and social change, which tend to be more domestic based.
All right, question in the back?
I was wondering if the proposals or pre-proposals are confidential, or if there's any, like, when it becomes a public disclosure.
Yeah. Do you want to?
Okay, I can answer that one. So when you submit your application, there's a little checkbox. Well, first you have to fill in web form information, just like with a quick summary of your project and the team members and things like that. The summary is publicly available, but you can disclose what you want to there, and then you can check a box in the application that just says we want to keep this confidential, and it won't go beyond the judges from there.
So we asked for a 50-word pitch and a 150-word pitch, and both of those need to be public. But as for the actual details, both in the pre-proposal and the full proposal, we can keep that confidential.
Are the applications judged by university, or is it all just judged together?
Judged by university?
Yeah, no,
What do you
it's
mean?
all the different campuses that are competing are all judged in one pool. And all the proposals are judged. So if you apply to the global health category, all the global health proposals are judged together, but all campuses included.
And also, really importantly, too, the Big Ideas money you get is a prize for an innovative idea you've developed. It's not a grant. It's not conditional on you implementing. It's an award for developing a really compelling idea. And awards will be dispersed if you're a winner in summer of next year.
So just to clarify, it's not a grant. This is not a grant program. It's, if you get the award, it's for having done the work over the last 9 months. What we've seen, though, is that the teams that make it to the end of Big Ideas, by the time you've spent an entire year and invested that time into your proposal, you're well sort of behind it. And the teams, 27 of the 28 teams from 2 years ago, a year later, were still working on their proposals in some capacity, either as students or had taken on as a full-time venture.
Yep.
When we win in the summer, will you guys continue to help us along and also like manage funding accordingly so it doesn't go in appropriate places?
I like how you phrase that, when we win, not if we win. That's confidence right there. Go ahead.
How we manage funding, you mean make sure the transfers happen accordingly, or?
For example, I'm a scientist and a designer, so my skill set is not really in accounting or finance, but I want to make sure that the winnings go for places and are optimized the right way. So I just want to say, like, you guys kind of give us like a support group to make sure that we can do it well.
So Big Ideas is always here for anyone who has entered the program, regardless. So we'll always be here as a reference for you and for support. It depends on how technical those questions get and how well we would be able to advise you, because I think getting really into the financials of it is maybe, depending on your project, I could possibly be outside of the realm of our expertise.
We can talk about and recommend when you get to that stage. Some students like to, one of the ways we can transfer funding is we can transfer it to a faculty advisor's research account, where it can stay on campus, it can be managed through that faculty advisor's research account. It's accountability there financially. And then we can talk through other different scenarios of how we have given out funds in the past.
Okay.
So kind of on that note, I'm a PhD student, but I'm not doing like an assigned project. I'm making up my own project to do in a group. So would that be relevant, or because I'm working within a PhD group and already have funding, would it be irrelevant?
No. Yep, you're qualified.
Come talk to us later about the specifics of that.
Yeah. It always helps for us to know a little bit more about your project before we give immediate. But we've had tons of PhD students come in with the research that they're doing as well, and it qualifies. Yeah. So does anyone have any additional questions? This is our team. You can always reach us at bigideas@berkeley.edu. And please do refer to our website for the most up-to-date information, especially on that events and workshops page.
And I think Adrian's already been talking about it and pushing it. The advising sessions we're open and available for business right now. We're pushing it right now because we know as we get further into the semester, things start to get really tied up. It's Adrian, myself, Max, and Juno, and we have one other person advising. But you'll see there will be lines out the door come October. So make sure if you want advising, get in early, come in often, and we'll still make space for you at the end, but it'll be more constrained at the end.
Yep. And we do have advising hours that you can sign up for on our website, but especially my hours, and to some degree Philip's as well, we're a little bit more flexible in addition to the scheduled hours that we've listed.
Sorry, I just wanted a clarification. When does the advising hours start? Next week? Or?
Right now. So you can go now and sign up for an advising appointment. You can talk to us like right after this information session ends in about 30 seconds. Yeah, the summer has been quiet, so I'm really eager to talk to you guys.
Out of curiosity, mostly when you do like venture funds and things of that nature, they take a percentage of your company. Is that the case at all? Okay. Good.
No.
The only thing to be aware of is, since it is an award, it's a prize, it can be taxed. There's ways to avoid that. If you create a student group here on campus and keep the funds on campus or transfer it to a faculty research account, it can stay on campus and not get taxed. But if you want to elect to take it as a prize directly to the student, it has to be reported as sort of 1099 on your tax forms.
All right, great. Any other questions? Yes.
Who are the judges, and when do we know who they are?
So you never know who the judges are. We don't want to compromise the process, just so you're not, reaching out to judges, and we kind of want to control that communication that happens.
That said, after the pre-proposal round, you'll get that feedback. If there's a specific judge who's commented on your proposal, judge number 9, they'll be listed in the feedback, and you want to dig deeper, ask them, you can talk to them, email us, say I want to talk to judge number 9. We'll email the judge, and if they're okay talking to you, most of the time they are, we'll connect you.
Yeah.
So my question is rather like, are these people academics or are they industrial professionals?
So the way we sort of build out judges for each category is we want industry sort of sector experts. So if it's the food systems category, we want people who have looked at those types of issues. But we also want folks who have a wide range of entrepreneurial skills, ones who can vet it from a business plan perspective, supply chain perspective, IP, legal strategy, outreach, and communications. So we try and build in those sort of technical experts along with the sector experts into each category.
Yeah.
Most will come from industry, some will come from academia.
All right. Let's open up for advising then. You can approach myself, Philip, or Max with any additional questions you have. And if you want to talk about your project, we're happy to do so as well.
Okay. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.